Dragon Ball has had a mainstay presence ever since it debuted in the mid-80s. With all those years of content, though, it's pretty much inevitable that some plot holes and mysteries arise. Sometimes previous information is contradicted by newer bits, while sometimes the writers seemingly forget the past. Sometimes they actually forgot to answer their own questions. We've rounded up a Super Saiyan long list of plot holes and mysteries in Dragon Ball just for you. Before we get started, be sure to subscribe to our channel and hit the notification bell to get all the latest from Screen Rant in your feed every day.
How long are you gonna keep training for anyway?
He won't stop training until he knows he can beat Goku.
Yeah, right. Like that's gonna happen.
In Dragon Ball, Goku and Krillin come across a girl who can change her personality with a sneeze. She was, of course, Launch, and was a pretty major character in the early arcs, but she totally disappeared from the timeline, save for some flashbacks in Z. So what happened to her? Akira Toriyama stated he actually forgot about her, but he has since never utilized her again. What gives? Unlike every other power in all of Dragon Ball. Another curious aspect about Launch is that her power is never really explained. In Dragon Ball Z, we're introduced to the androids. One of them, number 20, is actually Dr. Gero, the creator of the Red Ribbon Army and the androids themselves. You may remember the Red Ribbon Army from the original Dragon Ball sagas, but if you do, you'll remember that Dr. Gero wasn't the creator of the army or the androids. It was Dr. Flap.
Now, Goku, you know very well the giant gorilla monster lurks about during the full moon.
Not to worry, my boy. We can fix it so this little nuisance of yours never grows back.
Part of the early lore in Dragon Ball was the fact that the Saiyans came with tails. They were removed, but it was shown that they would grow back in time. Goku's tail has grown back numerous times, and Gohan's has even come back. But as time went on, it just seems that Toriyama has forgotten about the tail thing, as Goku and Gohan's tails have stopped appearing, and we've never seen Trunks, Goten, Bulma, or Pan with a tail. In Dragon Ball, there was a world martial arts tournament which saw the villain Piccolo grow to the size of a giant. It was quite the spectacle, as there was flying and superhuman strength. But the Z Fighters stopped competing in tournaments, and this allowed for Mr. Satan to become champion by the time the Cell games happened. But no one seemed to have remembered any of the over-the-top matches from the past. Everyone thinks the videos are doctored or acts like they never witnessed the fights. In early Dragon Ball episodes, Goku would turn into a giant ape whenever he looked at the full moon and cause insane amounts of destruction. Master Roshi decided to blow the moon up to prevent this from happening at any world martial arts tournament. Kami then eventually restored the moon before it was destroyed again by Piccolo. But the moon came back after that, and we have no idea how it did or who brought it back. The assumption is Kami yet again, but for now, this remains a mystery. You know that really annoying moment in the Frieza saga where he states he will destroy the planet in 5 minutes only for it to take over 2 hours of show for those 5 minutes to pass? What if there's more to it than that? Time is a construct after all, and we all assumed that he meant 5 minutes of Earth time. But Frieza doesn't come from Earth. For all we know, 5 minutes on his homeworld is 2 hours on Earth, thus making his initial deadline true.
Vegeta, what did you say his power level is? It's over 9,000!
We all know and love the classic line, "It's over 9,000!" That was Goku's power level during the Saiyan arc, which saw Nappa and Vegeta act as villains. It was actually a mistranslation from the original version, and has since been changed in multiple Funimation dubs. But from that point on, the power levels only went up, with Frieza's being at around 1 million and Goku's original Super Saiyan outmatching that. Now that we're beyond Super Saiyan Blue, the power levels are estimated to be up in the quintillions or pentillions. So how is it that a simple punch doesn't blow up an entire planet? Despite being named Dragon Ball, the series likes to play it fast and loose with the mythical items. The power of wishes and of the dragons themselves are only as strong as their makers, and we all know the Namekian creators aren't that strong. So if a whole planet can be restored, why can't the Namekians do that? Part of the fun in the series is watching all the Z Fighters train and seeing them perform their signature moves. But how much easier would things be if they taught each other their own moves? Seriously, if Goku taught everyone how to use instant transmission, things would be a little simpler. Vegeta started the Dragon Ball Z series off as one of the 2 main villains. Since then, Vegeta has slowly grown from villain to hero, but a lot of the Z Fighters still showed him resentment over the years. But why? He actually didn't do anything evil. Unlike Nappa, Vegeta didn't kill anyone, didn't blow up any cities, and he's the one who ultimately killed Nappa. I mean, he did sit there and watch Nappa do it all and kinda laughed a bunch. The destruction of Planet Vegeta has been a messy story in the franchise. At first, we were told by Raddatz that the planet was destroyed by a comet. Then it was revealed that Frieza Frieza was the one who destroyed it. When Raddatz tells Goku this story, he mentions the planet was destroyed 3 years ago. But Frieza destroyed the planet the day Goku left, and Goku is 20-something by the time Frieza's arc starts. So where on earth does Raddatz get 3 years from? Maybe they're Vegeta years. When Goku escapes Namek's destruction, he tells Trunks that he found a Saiyan pod and used that to escape instead of Frieza's ship. But wait, this doesn't line up with what we saw in the past. Instead, we saw Goku watching the destruction happen from the planet. So we got two very different versions of the same event, or maybe he just moved really fast. Towards the end of Dragon Ball Z, Kid Buu actually blows up the Earth. Vegeta and Goku ended up working on a way to get the Namekian Dragon Balls to restore Earth and its population. But why hasn't planet wishing been a thing before? Planet Namek was destroyed, Maz was Planet Vegeta, home of the Saiyans. When a character dies in Dragon Ball, they get sent to the spirit realm and from there, an interpretation of heaven and hell. When Goku went there, he was quickly told to train with King Kai instead of Raddatz. But we also learned that Vegeta and Frieza are stronger than King Kai, so what's stopping all these dead villains from overthrowing the Kais? In Super, we learned that there are other universes living parallel to the one the main arc takes place in. But if there are all these amazing fighters out there in the multiverse, how come none of them came to Earth's aid during the Kid Buu crisis? Surely the Kais could have pleaded to Whis or even Beerus if they dared, or hire Hit to help. It's explicitly stated that Saiyans need oxygen to survive. Goku is given this piece of advice from King Kai as he learns that Frieza himself can survive the vacuum of space while he wouldn't. But later on, we see Vegeta transforming into a Super Saiyan on an asteroid, Goku and Beerus have a battle outside Earth's atmosphere, and Bardock fights Frieza in deep space in a movie tie-in.
There's no reason for me to keep the Earth intact. This world and its creatures will serve this galaxy equally well as dust.
Super kicks off with a bang with the introduction of Beerus. He's a pretty sour individual who blows up planets when he feels just a little bit angry. He defeats Goku with relative ease and is generally seen as the most powerful being in the universe. He even stated he's the reason there's no dinosaurs on Earth. But wait, in Dragon Ball Super, we see a dinosaur chasing Trunks and Gohan. Not only that, but dinosaurs are prevalent in Dragon Ball and in Z. In Dragon Ball Z, future Trunks emerged from the hyperbolic time chamber with longer hair while Vegeta's remains the same. Turns out the hair length of any pure-blooded Saiyan never changes. Seeing as Trunks is half Saiyan, his is free to grow out. But in Super, when Goku and Vegeta go into the time chamber, they emerge with beards. In Super, Goku needs the power of 6 Saiyans to ascend to the level of Super Saiyan God. Thankfully, half Saiyans work in this ritual, and so does the unborn Pan. The ritual states that you need 6 righteous Saiyans to do this task, but there's just one problem. There's just no way that Vegeta counts as righteous. The number of atrocities the prince has done over the years sort of puts a big blemish on his track record.
This is it! I finally reached the limit of this power! That's too bad! I give you all the credit, Lord Beerus! You're as strong as they come!
When Beerus lands on Earth, it doesn't take long before he completely owns Goku in their first battle. Angry that events have ruined their party, Bulma begins yelling at Beerus, only to be slapped by the god. But Bulma, who has had 0 days of combat training her whole life, somehow didn't need to go to the hospital for broken bones after getting a strong hit from a destruction god. Even luckier is that Bulma didn't just die. Dragon Ball Z ended with a peaceful saga that teased a martial arts tournament on the horizon. Then Super came along. Curiously though, it seemed to question whether or not the final moments of Z ever happened. The epilogue takes place a few years after the Majin Buu Saga and sees everyone living in peace. But in Super, there's no mention of what happened to the tournament.
I will make you suffer!
Going Super Saiyan was not something all Saiyans can do, and you had to work incredibly hard to achieve it. Vegeta's training took quite a while, and he was full of rage while doing it. But in Super, all that doesn't seem to matter when it comes to Kale, Caulifla, and Cabba. Once they learn how to transform, they not only pick it up almost immediately, but without any of the anguish and suffering that came with it. Maybe Universe 6 Saiyans are just easier. Vegeta is the kind of guy who prides himself on family and legacy. But in a Dragon Ball movie, we learned that Vegeta has a brother named Torbil. You'd think that a prince who is proud of his heritage and angry that there are so few Saiyans left would have mentioned a brother before. What's even crazier is that in Super, he's entirely absent again, aside from a quick mention in Battle of Gods.
Boo! Stop! You still owe us a fair fight! A blast that big will destroy the Earth!
One of the most well-known sagas in all of Dragon Ball is the Buu Saga, and despite its epic narrative, there's one confusing plot hole in the early portions of the massive arc. Majin Buu's power consists of eating people by turning them into candy, but the show plays fast and loose with exactly who dies and who doesn't from this. Case in point, Vegeta was able to retain all of his powers, but Dabura and Buu himself were not. One of the most common wishes in all of Dragon Ball history is to revive the dead, but the show is never consistent on where the revived soul goes. Sometimes they go right back to the place they died, like Vegeta on Namek, but other times King Yema's palace and an escort from Baba or Kami is the path home.
You can never destroy what I am, friend.
What are you?
I am the hope of the universe.
That's it for now. What do you think is the biggest plot hole in the entire Dragon Ball franchise? Does any of it hurt the show for you, or did most of these fly right over your head? Let us know in the comments below, and be sure to like this video and subscribe to the channel to get more videos like this in your playlist every day. Thanks for watching.